exception in a waiver by the DNR to treat with ultraviolet light and, you know, some of the other things that they were saying mandating that we had to have, we don't need that now.
I didn't take you long.
So,
You got a lagoon, don't you?
yeah,
Didn't the lot to the east of you, they tore it all out of there? The trailer park.
the trailer park.
Yeah, were they hooked on the same septic, weren't they?
At one time, they were hooked on our water line, not our septic.
All your water?
Yeah. And there was some discussion about that with the board, and the board decided not to extend that.
Shut the line.
That was been several.
Or Nick?
Good morning.
It is 8:00. Stand and do the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Public discussion. Lee, you're up.
Just wanted to visit a little bit about Drain 7. Liability that I've done more study on it, got information on it. I put it all in chronological order. And I kind of feel there's maybe a little liability on Eric Heidi's behalf to, as a drainage lawyer, he really didn't follow the code of Iowa either. And so I was kind of just wanted to throw at you guys, maybe the possibility of errors and omissions on his part. I think there's some warmth there.
My opinion is when you get an attorney to sue an attorney for errors of omission, you're gonna add more cost to Drain 7.
Is that an issue that would have to go to court?
Can you,
Is there an insurance?
With ID?
Yes.
is there be such a time as they fill out a request?
I don't even know.
Claim
Because
against
he
him,
was
doing
doing
a
that
claim
last
against him?
time we were talking
On
about
a
it.
drainage request? Just, would they, what about just doing a drainage request saying, we're Drain 7, we're filing, we're applying a claim for negligence to
ID?
ID, just.
And have him file a claim
And
with
send
his
that-
insurance
Send
company.
that to ID.
Yeah, that's about the only thing
We
we
can
can
try
try.
that.
Well, I just wanted to,
Why don't you go to Marge and fill out a drainage request and put on there that you feel that ID
Was negligent.
was negligent in his representation of the county or of the drainage district.
For errors and
And then we can
omissions.
file, yeah, then we can file from there.
Then we can forward that on to him.
okay.
I would say the best place to start would be Todd, because as an attorney, he should know the process you'd have to go through. I mean, the repair request is okay, but I mean,
But we have
if
to
it
have-
has to go from another attorney, maybe Todd can do it.
Yeah, we gotta have some piece of paper that somebody's objecting.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying conversation with Todd would probably be warranted.
Well, then we can have a conversation with Todd,
Yeah,
but we need a piece of
I think
paper
it'd be-
that says it
We
started.
start with the, we'd have to have something to start with, and that'd be a way to
That's the
start.
way this, okay.
Get started.
I presume the board has presented to their insurance,
Yes.
okay?
I haven't
And
heard nothing.
as I read them both, there's easy to make a case for both. All they know is one thing, the district did nothing wrong. We're gonna pay, I mean, we're gonna have $125,000 bill. And the district really is not liable. So I will, that's how I'll file that, if you guys, that's how you think I should proceed.
Yeah,
And just do
It would-
that under a
repair request.
repair request.
it would start a paper trail, which would be what we would need, yeah.
We need some piece of
Okay.
paper and somebody's signature that says they're not satisfied.
And then maybe Todd could send a letter along with it too, maybe asking him that he needs to turn into his insurance company.
Yeah. That'd be all right.
Start there anyway and see where it goes from there.
Okay, that's what I'm after, right? If we do nothing, we know what we'll
Yeah.
get.
Right.
All right.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Lee.
I have a motion to approve the agenda claims, conservation claims and minutes for July 12th.
Claims, I had a couple questions. One, in engineers, there's a $24,000 thing for GPS network, something.
Yeah.
Don't know what that's about.
So it's on there. Buckets.
No, it's not the AVL, because that's a whole separate one, and that was also in there.
You know who it was to?
What number?
I can find it for the here. Dan Corbin Incorporated GPS network design and process. Says just shy of 24,000.
Don't you, dial that? Yeah, the number.
And then the other one was, another question for engineer also was outside labor. Totaled up to,
Doug, there's, Kyle's got a question on, there's $24,000 claim for GPS.
So,
GPS network design.
What is it, Kyle?
GPS
Oh,
network.
you wanna come
design.
up and explain it? Yeah, okay, do that. It says an adjustment. But he's coming up.
Okay. So and then also on the labor for cat stuff, there's outside labor totaling over 30,000. I mean, you start looking at that every couple of weeks. That's a lot more expensive than a guy or two, even if they're high price. And the one machine, number 148 alone, is 42,000 for parts and labor.
Yeah, hi.
Doug.
Good morning, everyone.
So did you hear what that question?
Was that to Dan Corbin?
Yeah,
Okay, we have a high accurate network of monuments in Kossuth County. We put them out. Oh, it was before one of the aerial flights. But it's used by surveyors for land surveying. The datum is shifting. There's a new model for the earth. So we hired Dan Corbin to go out and set on those monuments again, readjust our network and get them tied into the new data. We couldn't just simply take a mathematical formula. We had to go out and observe on all of it. So that's what that cost was.
okay.
So
And then I just brought up, like, we had over 30 grand in outside labor to cat here on this bill, like.
yeah,
Are we full staffed on mechanics or
well, we just
we just got one?
got one, yeah.
Okay,
And as soon as that mechanic started, we had another mechanic that had an emergency appendectomy. So right now we're down one again. So,
can't really get you.
well, those things happen. So, but, no. But that,
So that outside labor should be reduced.
we hope, yes. But we're catching up on things as well. So, yes.
Ziegler good now.
I'm not sure what it is right now. It's reduced because he is working in our shop.
Okay, ain't like a service call.
No, it's not. It's a reduced what it is. It's like 10% off.
Well, and I also saw this, the number 148, whatever, it had total of 42,000 in parts and labor. Was there something major on that?
Well, we had transmission go out on one of them. Yeah, 148, I think he had transmission go out, so yes. It was quite thin.
Is that a motor grader or?
Motor
truck?
grader, that'd be a motor grader, yes.
Well, then we'll think that answered my questions.
All right.
Before you leave, Doug, I was just curious, is there prioritized, settings on those cat transmissions? That only cat can work on them? I don't really know. Is it?
Not, I don't think 148 would have been,
Okay,
um, the AMs, there's, everything is starting to get to a point where a certain degree of work has to be done by the manufacturer, but where that's at.
They don't give you the software, that you can buy your own computer?
Well, we have diagnostic software, but we do not have software that can change and upload data. Some of that stuff has to be done.
Yeah, cause we got tractors we take in and they get on the computer and they teach it how to reshift itself,
Correct, yeah.
which I don't see how
but
that works.
even John Deere, the lead transmissions, the variable speed ones,
You can't.
you can put it all together,
Yeah,
but
Then
you
you got-
start it up, it isn't gonna work until they come out and set it with their computer, and it's their diagnostic. And it's prioritized that only John Deere can have it.
correct, yeah.
And I'm just curious if Pat was the same
Yeah,
way,
has that. Yeah.
same thing.
We can diagnose and get codes, but there's
Yeah.
things we cannot change in there for the machine.
Same way with injection pumps now, you can't
Correct, yeah,
change them anymore, it has to be a John Deere tech.
right.
Yep, thanks Doug.
You're welcome.
So I guess to follow up on that, I mean, not saying we wouldn't have needed to do either of those, but we've got a policy that says 5,000 each department has okayed up to, otherwise it needs to come to the board. We've had the conversation before, but couple sizable bills that I didn't even know about till they showed up on claims.
So when Doug comes up for discussion, bring that up with him.
Well, I brought it up with you guys before and no one was supportive of bringing it up to him really at that time. That it didn't apply to him.
Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the agenda claims, conservation claims in the minutes dated July 12th? So moved. Motion by Plath, second by Casey.
Yes, sir.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Call an answer,
Okay, you go.
Yeah.
like for which one? Yes or no?
It's yes.
Dan, you want to give us your monthly update?
Sure. Okay, so for, the month of June here at, Veterans Affairs, I had 1,067 records. The current federal report is now saying I have 1,125 veterans in the county receiving benefits, so I'm getting a little closer. Got some more work to do there. I had 33 calls, 35 walk-ins, 13 appointments, and 51 messages. We transported 2 veterans that month and had 4 transfers into the county from out of state. Currently got 50 open claims, 6 of them that I'm currently working on and developing. Planning on assisting the color guard here at Vets Night at the races coming up on Thursday. Friday, I'll be in Des Moines all day for a state association meeting, so my office won't be open that day. August 5th, I'll be assisting a new hire training in Hamilton County, bringing them up to speed. And then also just want to confirm our commissioner and supervisor training that we're putting on August 12th over at the Orchard in Humboldt, and you're all duly invited for that. If your schedule permits, that'll start, that's on a Friday. That'll start at 9:30 and probably get over with early afternoon at some point. I don't have a time on that. But if you are intending, thinking about going over, if you'd let me know ahead of time, I'm facilitating trying to get the head count for the meals and everything for the new meals, so.
I think I sent an email to you.
Yeah.
So that's gonna take place on the 12th of August. Again, that's on Friday. Then in September, working with new hire training, we got 6 new hires in our district. So we're gonna utilize our election center and spend some hands-on time with those 6 new individuals to help them out. Just would ask that maybe if you knew the Forest City mayor, he passed away yesterday, unfortunately. You know, in your circles, maybe extend your condolences to the city. I've been in touch with their VSO, and he was also on her commission, so they kind of lost a mayor and a commissioner, unfortunately.
Is that the one on the radio that driver's the teacher? Or is that different?
It's different.
No, this gentleman, I only had the pleasure of meeting him once, unfortunately, and I had, it was purely by accident, actually, when I was up there working with the VSO, and he stopped in, so. I have submitted my grant report to the state for our $10,000 assistance. I've not heard back on that yet, so I'm still looking to see that. As soon as I receive anything, I'll bring it over. Also in contract with a representative of VetPro. VetPro is a software company that helps manage VA claims and veterans claims. Currently, I'm using Vetrospec that was bought out by Tyler Technologies. Tyler says that has a shelf life to it. They won't give us a date as to when support will cease for that at this point, but it is going away. So I was looking at other options, exploring other options. I talked to my commissioners. I want to do a 90-day free trial to see if VetPro would be a replacement program that would help me. Tyler is developing what is called a new program, Veterans Benefits. I did the 25-minute introduction video thing. Not very pleased with that. There's 117 forms that I have to use, and this one's only capable right now of dealing with 3 of them. So I'm not overly impressed. It's not very intuitive. It seems very cumbersome. And then to fall into Derek's world, currently submitting everything under Vetrospec in a D2D technology, which is a security encryption. VA is going to what is called API. I don't know what that is, but VetPro, this other program I'm looking at, is also API compatible. So it would be right on line with VA and, you know, all things considered, maybe a few minor hiccups, one could just continue and not skip a beat. So I did get a cost estimate, site license for one site, one individual use per year, $450. Not much difference than Vetrospec at this point. So I thought about giving it a try. The commissioners agreed, so I'm in the process of working that right now. Just with a couple reports, July's not over with yet, but I'm tracking over $11,500 in retroactive claim awards. Did get one approved thus far for $1,896. Month of June, retroactive awards was $23,300. And right now, total active, total one-time payments since January and forecasted through the end of December to include up to July, $249,000 for the county. There is a total of $8,000 on service-connected burials and $1,400 on non-service connected burials. I think right now I'm sitting at about 32 veterans that have passed away since the 1st of January. County averages anywhere between 40 to 45. So hopefully we won't lose it for the time being. But big heavy schedule on the training side, just either working with new hires or with commissioners, as well as preparing for our fall school. And also have my ASAP report that I gotta get finished here. And that's pretty much it at this point. So subject to your questions, that's all I have.
It's been a week or 2 weeks. I read a letter from Dwayne Burninghouse
Oh, okay.
about, he was complimenting you for everything you've done. So I read the letter to the board that he sent me.
That was a claim we worked on, probably took me about 3 months before I got it in, so still in process. So, but he was, yeah, he did stop by and thank me. He was very appreciative of that. Okay, well, thank you, folks.
Thanks,
Thank you. Appreciate it. Nick, you're up.
Okay, we have the annual report. I didn't even touch base. I'm assuming that you saw it on your desk and you shared it.
Yeah, I
Good.
did.
Okay, this would be for the time period July 1st, 2021 to June 30th of 2022, and pretty much same stuff. The columns are all the same. We have a beginning balance for the year of $26,956,696.37. We had revenues of $65,993,436.81. And disbursements of $64,104,827.32. So we ended up with a ending balance June 30th of $28,845,305.86. And then the last column would be the outstanding auditor's warrants that have been issued but not cashed yet, or not run through the system. So
That's the highest number I think I've ever seen here,
it
though.
is the highest number,
I've never seen 9 million before.
9.4.
Yeah,
That's pretty high. And we're called in on drainage warrants tight as we can.
yeah.
We had our tax sale in June and we were able to call in a few thousand more, and that was about it. So
Yeah, kids,
just slow going, but I mean, the work's done, everything's figured out on the collection of it, so.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the first page, and then starting on the bottom of the first page, it starts listing the revenues, and that continues on to the second page. And the third page. And then on to page 3 on the bottom, the expenses start, and that goes on to the fourth page, and it's, like I said, probably a chance to look at the annual report. Any questions?
the Like the auto registration fees and all those, is that net or you still have to?
What number you on?
$194,000.
That would be,
4210.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be what the county share.
That's the county share. That's what I was.
Yes, that's what, we would retain for doing the work. And right below it, the auto use tax fees, we get that much for the year.
That's not a lot.
No, that's not.
The local option sales is up quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one.
1320,
Yeah,
or, yeah,
1,320,000.
Yeah, well,
32,000.
it started online,
1,332,000.
stuff, tax
Yeah,
on
obviously.
online orders, things like that.
Oh.
So that's affecting that also.
It was, a couple of years ago, it was 900,000.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's increased a lot. So how does the state figure that?
I don't know. Well, I'm not sure how they calculate that, what their formula is or anything like that, but, yeah, it's increased, so, which is a good thing.
Well, for a long time, you never paid any sales tax on internet sale. Now they're
Now,
charging,
now
now
we
they're
are,
starting, now
yeah, it's showing.
it's showing up, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking back, see if I can find them from a couple of years ago.
Well, I was thinking it was 11 something last year, 1,100,000.
1920. Yeah, like, for example, the annual report from the July of 2019 to the end of June of 2020, 975,000.
Yeah.
Off of option sales.
Then you go back a few more years when I can remember when it was 400.
Yeah, just increases a little more.
So people must buy a lot more online.
I think so.
That's all you see is UPS and FedEx around everywhere.
They are. Too many times at my house.
Take Kenny's phone up with
I'm not
him.
gonna say it.
Shut the credit cards off.
So that would be the annual report, for the year, beginning July 1st, 2021 to the end of June of 2022.
Do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report? Mr. Ross,
sure.
second by Stecker. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, do a roll call vote.
Stecker,
Yes.
Casey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Black,
Yes,
Jerks.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Yep.
Thanks.
Acknowledge transfers made by the auditor. Transfer of $2,522.32 from rural basic to secondary road and $20,314.26 from rural basic to secondary road. Let the minutes show that we acknowledge the transfer. Discussion for the appointment of the Kossuth County EMS Advisory Council member.
Bill isn't gonna be able to be here today, but he said.
Anybody have any questions on Cody?
It's a replacement,
Jody?
Jody, I mean,
it's a replacement for John County.
John said he couldn't do it, so Jody Bierstead said he would. He's been to a couple meetings. He looks interested. Do I have a motion to approve? I would make such a motion. Second by Plath. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimous. Discussion approval of resolution 7/19/2201 on ARPA funds.
Last week,
Right.
it was just a resolution identifying that we're using.
I have a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Motion by Loss, second by Casey.
Yes, sir.
Any discussion? All those in favor, do a roll call vote.
Stecker,
Yes.
Casey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Platt,
Yes.
Jerks.
No.
These from which foundation, we can do it. Gave them, we know, right, so they did them. Let me tell you what, I'm not for.
Discussion decision to approve fireworks permit. It's for Brent Owen. I have a motion to approve. Casey? Second? Second Platt?
Whatever.
Is there any discussion on the fireworks permit? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimous. Discussion decision to approve liquor license for Sassy Lemonade Slushes.
Leave this. It's a short one.
I don't know much about it for 5 days. I was back and forth with the license department and I'm gonna see if there's anything different with the rebate thing, or maybe, right, there you go. But we didn't, were able to touch bases on what I needed, so.
The difference with this one is, it's not in a building, it's outside on somebody's property during. It's like a stand that they're.
Even though us would just stop there and then continue.
Customary that they ask the board before they apply for a license.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it, and it's not the intent of the board to have liquor licenses that are temporary.
No, A beats.
Right, Bob?
A beats license.
He meant right.
She said, right, he's asking,
He's asking about
because A beats is inside the building, that's.
They have permanent grounds. Do I have a motion to approve or disapprove?
So what's the reason that we shouldn't have it? Because it's temporary?
It was asked by the sheriff before, by Steve, when he was sheriff, that we not okay any liquor licenses for out in the country for drag by. Cause it's
Well, we
hard for
don't-
them
we don't
to
have any-
manage.
Cause I mean,
They
we
don't have,
we don't have any proof of liability insurance or coverage.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Is that all in there?
it's all in there.
They have to.
It's all in there.
So that's all included with the application, right?
Right.
The questions that she was waiting on are things like with, we usually have to have for buildings, you know, like inspections, that kind of stuff, and that kind of stuff you can't have with the stand, and those are questions she's kind of been waiting for from the city, that we haven't got.
Is there a, they have a sales tax, application there too? I mean, in order to have a,
That is over there, that's all I know about this whole thing. I was wanting a little bit more information, but like, maybe like like fire inspection, just different things, and then just like an overview of what it would be. That's what I would be.
But they gotta get approved by the rec committee too, don't they? I know in Algona, cause I had to stand showers one year when I ran the car wash, and I had to go through the city of Algona and get permission to have a stand for ag brand.
But this is out in the country.
Yeah, so I didn't know if we had, they had to come,
We have to get permission for the liquor license.
So you're saying like this application isn't complete then?
This part of it is, but on my end, and I don't, because I don't know, I was waiting for a call back on like specifics for rec ride. Which the lady and I have been going back and forth.
In here, it says effective date 27th. So if we table it to next week, we'd have more time to get answers.
Maybe talk to Roger then too.
Yeah.
get your-
I'd make a motion to table it to next week.
Does it have to, is there a deadline, when they have to have approval prior to when it takes effect, or do you know? Because that would be the next day, right?
Yeah, it'd be the next day.
I think. I don't know how soon she would be, as for supplies and stuff, that'd be fine.
hate to ever go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff, and then, no.
Yeah,
But I'm guessing she's gonna jump to the next county the next day, the next county the next day, or no?
She can't move the liquor license like that, can she?
But I mean, does she apply to the next counties? Is she just gonna be like a rolling sassy lemonade stand?
I have no idea.
I don't know, might be good to have her in here for the discussion too.
Cause she doesn't have a local number, 351.
Well, the mailing address is per, so.
Oh.
I didn't give her comments for.
100 people. He's a doctor.
but you haven't heard, you said you were trying to get hold of the state and they haven't.
Yeah, for more information on what I actually.
So would you be able to do that?
We've been playing phone tag.
I mean, we got a deal at 11 o'clock. Could you still get a hold of me this morning?
I can try.
I think what you're asking.
Yeah,
I
Just
guess.
let
Yeah, I
this go for now and see if you can
that's-
maybe go try and get hold of them again.
Okay, I can do that.
Wanna
Okay.
try calling Roger Fisher?
I'll call Roger and see if he's in.
I think it's 419.
419.
Hey, Roger, we're talking about a liquor license up for private property in the country, and we want to get your opinion on it.
Very great.
Yeah. Okay, he says if he knows the specific location, the hours are gonna be open, he doesn't have a problem with it.
Is that Greg Graham's?
He said Greg Rams on, Gregor going, east there. state patrol pushes the bikers through and they shut all the alcohol places down. He says he thinks it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They shut all the liquor places down, the highway patrol. Okay, we just wanted to get your opinion on it, and they're trying to get a hold of the state yet to see if all the paperwork is appropriate. All right, thanks, Roger. And he said he doesn't have a problem. He says the highway patrol's on top of them and they can shut down. He thinks at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
He shut down 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, he says they push him through.
Yeah, probably.
And they don't want you riding in the dark, you know. They want you to get to your destination before dark, so you're
Then
not.
start drinking. Maybe they don't shut down the ones that are at the towns at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Just the ones on the route, the ones in the route,
Yeah, and they wouldn't be able to shut down anything like in town here.
No.
It would just be the.
just the
temporary
ones in the country, yeah, on the way.
I can
Well,
see
it's
that.
like, so she.
We'll
gets back.
wait.
Yeah,
We'll go to discussion on October 10th. Courthouse training.
I was here last week, and this has been tossed around for a few months with the safety committee trying to come up, and our handbook does reference that we will have an annual training day. I think some of that got postponed probably with COVID, and it's just been kind of inconsistent. So last week, I think I kind of presented to you that the agenda is kind of fluid. We're trying to figure that out. The safety committee did meet. They are, Roger, I think their kind of impression is they'd like to have it be a full day. I was kind of erring on making sure we had enough topics, and we're still erring on that. And I think we need to discuss. The clerk of court's office is open though, and we thought it was closed, but it will be open. So that would be something we probably have to talk to them about if we do an Alice training in the courthouse. That it's okay for their staff to be involved, or we manage that somehow. Slip, trips, and falls is an ongoing thing with our workman's comp audit that's brought up. I talked to Bill Dickey, keeps on referring me back to a video, which we can do, but I think sometimes people glaze over and don't always pay attention. The committee is trying to reach out to one of the state troopers to do a vehicle distracted driving training. That's just something I know a lot of us don't drive, but we all drive to get to work, so it covers our insurance, so at least they want us to do that. I'm back, I think, just to kind of clean up maybe some of those ends. I don't know if I'm extremely further, I think which are opinions and thoughts from.
It's Columbus Day.
Oh, so we're also.
Well,
No, we're
no,
hoping.
not.
We're
No,
hoping.
not. But, staff seem to think that, people tend to think since it's a federal holiday, that might be a better day for less traffic,
A lot of people think we're closed.
but
So if we do Alice training that morning, we don't disrupt as many people as I thought. Is that the board's consensus?
Maybe they get work, yeah.
Then we can do some of the other training videos and stuff, and the courthouse can be open then.
right, I mean, I know I'm sounding a little disjointed, but gotta kind of plan, but we gotta make sure everybody gets in place too, and we're kind of on a time frame, and maybe we'll have to postpone it and move it to a different date, but that's just kind of a target that we wanted to, so that we can meet our obligations of employee training and the workman's comp recommendations.
Consensus of the board to go along, do training that day and do the Alice training that morning if we can. That way we don't disrupt a day that's busy.
yeah. So it's good.
I don't hear any objections.
Okay, I'll continue to work on it. If there's any updates or if you get any information that you think the committee needs to know, let me know.
Since it's on the agenda, do you want a motion to approve it with concrete date? Cause I mean, last week we approved it with.
We
the
approved it
tentative
last
date.
week. I don't think we really need motion today, but we can.
The minutes say we approved October 10th, but that it was It could be changed, but it did from the meeting, so it's up to you guys.
I don't care either way. So,
I think we can have it in the minutes that we discussed it. And reaffirmed it.
Maybe we could add that out, because I don't think Alice taken this.
I think I brought it up, maybe de-escalation, probably.
I don't like it in the minutes that we're gonna have Alice training anytime. I don't want that in the
I
minute.
think it was- I used de-escalation, I never used directly the Alice, so.
Yeah.
That was really on purpose, but I think that was kind of
Yeah.
the direction we were talking. And I think the de-escalation is just as important, but I think the format of the concrete Alice training is very prescriptive, so that at least is helpful from that standpoint. The rest might be just who we can get.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for changing batteries.
Yeah.
We have all new batteries and all the, did you ever find the last two?
They're up at the clerk of court. I think there's only one that I can't really find.
How many darn buttons was it?
102. Some of those are like the sensors for the jail. I think 6 of those are the sensors for the jail. There is 102 total.
102 batteries to change.
And they're in unique spots, underneath desks and underneath in drawers,
push it and find out.
In drawers.
in drawers. So we have to kind of look for them.
Found yours, Casey.
That's fine. That's fine to me.
Doug.
Yeah, he's on.
I didn't know there's that many batteries to change until we started walking around doing it. What's that?
The boiler room shift that fan a little higher speed.
I was hoping when we get all our new controls that you have some variable speed frequency fan that doesn't whistle.
I don't remember whistling.
It doesn't usually sound this bad.
No.
Problems over at the auction center for some reason, the thermostat keeps going to 82 degrees. So I don't know what that's about, Lily was getting.
Maybe two's more.
Yeah.
82.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah.
I left that outside, but I don't know. That's
Sure.
82 is about a perfect temperature.
Zero humidity. Like the other day, what was it, 70, 72 with 100% humidity? Oh, that's a bear.
Morning again.
Good morning, Doug. We are up to construction in the right of way.
Yes,
Owls on getting your tape there too.
okay, thank you. Yes, we got one request from Bevcon Communication. They're out of Blue Earth, Minnesota. They're doing a lot, some work along the state line, 510th Street from Elmore heading east. Doing some work on the South Road right away, so they have applied for a utility permit. It's a fiber optic cable that's going to be plowed in the road right away. It's going to be bored under every field entrance, every driveway, and every crossroad. And there's a couple times where they bore and go underneath the gravel road, go north into Minnesota to acreages, different things like that. So I would recommend that the board would approve of this request.
Motion by Stecker. Second by
I'll second it.
Loss. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
I,
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimous.
Sign that, Roger, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Some might be in this car.
Last week I brought up farm leases. How do you guys want to handle those? Would you like me to invite current tenants in and talk to them about things, or start from scratch? I know that we have two situations where there are pivots with irrigation, which are owned by the tenants. So for another person to come in, you know, those would be difficult. If we have all different terms,
Yeah,
types of terms, each individual area has its own individual characteristics. We can also just renew them under the terms that we have right now.
some of that ground is not real.
Not the most desirable, you know.
Gravel pits down there, which down there, burning. Sand's burning.
Right, yeah, this year, you can really see it. So,
Most of the ground we ran out is poor, so, except for the county farm.
and that's, yeah, I have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Particular lease at all.
Think we just leave them all the same, it's fine with me, unless somebody here has an objection to that.
Every 3 years they come up or every,
I believe that's what the term is.
so if somebody else wants a piece of ground, they have a chance every 3 years, right?
Didn't we
Well-
put them out for bid or whatever 3 years ago?
We tried to get them all on the same schedule.
Yeah, we got them
Yeah.
all on the same schedule. I don't
Know that. we put 'em out
remember
for
us
bid.
ever putting all of them out at the same
Maybe it
time.
wasn't all.
We might have had one of
We
them.
put the county farm out for bids,
Yeah.
but as far as the gravel pits, they own those center pivots, we've never put them out for bids.
Right, that's kind of been a situation.
Without the center pivots, that ground isn't worth much.
Just gonna renew it. Good enough to have somebody take care of them, keep the weeds down and stuff.
So well, everybody knows cash run going up, but if it's crap ground, you're not, it's a drought here, there ain't gonna.
Some of those are pasture ground down
Yeah.
in Hutchinson. We're
Yeah.
happy to have somebody take care of the weeds, to be honest.
There's only a couple of them, row crop,
And those are,
gravel pits.
you know, I'm fine with the way it is unless somebody else isn't.
I don't know, I kind of feel like it should be open to the public to go after them again. It's county property, but
Are you gonna do that with the ones that got center pivots then?
I don't know how that was ever started or handled that way, I guess, but,
Well, they will,
I mean,
I think they asked for longer leases to, they put them in, I think, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
so did they have longer leases when they were first put in?
Or they just asked that we would,
Yeah, I think it would be appropriate to have Ken Dahlhauser and,
Don Hagen,
Don Hagan.
cause that's, I was just gonna, Don Hagen's, I mean, he's got a center pivot, but he's only paying $74 an acre cash.
Right, and visit with them. I know that,
So that's almost all I think.
we have over in Hutchins,
For irrigated land, that's pretty bare bones.
It's gonna be,
Right.
so going price is 300.
over at Hutchins, they have fence to maintain. Our fence is not in the greatest condition. So when they put animals in there, they were talking about if they had a longer term lease, they would improve that, make better improvements to that fence.
Decent size price.
I mean,
I
that's
can
all.
have,
that's
I can have all of them come in and to visit with you about what's going on, and you can discuss that with them and maybe make a decision after that, more educated if you'd like.
What's your
Maybe we
prerogative?
Could start with that, but not opposed to a conversation with him by any means, but
So what's your opinion? You want them to take it all out on bids?
Well, I mean, is that the proper thing to do, or is it, I mean, I just think $74 is too cheap for a pivoted farm ground. I mean, what kind of crop he's raising like
But
that?
they paid to put the pivot in.
Yeah,
yeah, but you're still looking at an acre of ground, and sure, it's irrigated, but for me to come in, it's not gonna be worth as much as it would be to him, because I don't have the pivot necessarily, but he's got that, so that should have some value there. Probably more than $74 an acre.
Oh, what the pivot costs around.
They pumping water out of the gravel pits,
No, they actually have sand point,
Sandpoint well, don't they?
right?
Yeah.
The Whitmore one's out of the pit though, ain't it, or is that Sandpoint?
No, Whittemore Dollhousers have a permit.
They suck out of the pit.
They'll suck out of the,
Like, one of them sucks out of the dredge ditch down there too.
That's Quinn.
but that's not.
That's not a
land,
county,
That's his own ground.
I know, I just think seems a little too low. I'd like to know maybe what kind of bushels he's getting on that.
On that one big road.
Yeah, cylinder.
Oh, it's Fairfield Township. It's 130 acres, I might look.
Well, I will have, line up
Bucks an acre on electricity.
some, people to come in and visit, and we'll go from there.
That's a consensus of the board.
Like plan.
We got rank right next week, so I think that's Wednesday they're going on McGregor. They do come in on Tuesday and use some. Well, actually, they're on state roads on that to go through West Bend and then go back up north and go back through Palo Alto County. I'm asking for some equipment quotes. I got a quote out for an excavator and a skid loader, trading off our 312 excavator and our 939 track loader. Asking for quotes on those.
Skid loader tractor wheel.
It'd be a skid loader, compact skid loader. The one that we have right now is a track loader. It's metal tracks. So. We do have a few spots that need to be patched, and we've got everything prepared, waiting for blacktop service to come in. Roadside spraying, I think the spot spraying of thistles is completed in the middle. We are doing some brush spraying. B&W, we are having B&W do some brush spraying up north and then north of the 842. The bridge on the Big 6 road, they are planning to pour in the middle of next week. The deck on that. So after they pour the deck, I'll have some backfilling, some barrier rail and guardrail, and then that will be ready and opened up for traffic. Fairville Road, they are ready to pave. However, the contractor doing the pavement is not scheduled in there till the 1st of August. They do have rock there, so drivable, but there will be some time before that is paved. Irvington Bridge, they are driving piling for the west pier right now. Today they started, so construction is moving on that. After they get the west pier done, they'll move to the east pier. DOT 169 bridge, they are ready for beams. The beams are not ready to be delivered yet. So they are running a little bit late on that. And the resurfacing on Highway 18, I don't say, Donnie, have you been over there? Is that road still closed, or do they open that up?
Still close.
I gotta make some phone calls on that.
Thursday, you come off the detour. You're up by Otis's, and then all of a sudden there's another detour that you have to follow a pilot car for 3 miles. They're cutting big chunks out of the highway.
Yeah, they're doing some things, but the road Highway 18 from Highway 17 west is closed to traffic.
That's so close, Tammy, when you came
It's
this morning.
close between 17 and
Yeah,
R14.
yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only spot.
So it's 1 mile there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then yesterday, west of R14, they had a slow, not a pilot car, but a slow and a stop there.
Yeah.
They were taking it out, so.
Okay.
And you're right, they're not using the detour. When I came back with the trailer and I went on 17 to hit McGregor and cut home. Everybody, as soon as they do cross the railroad tracks, they go right through Wesley. There was nobody following me once I got past that little Wesley.
The local, yeah.
And there were semis there too. They weren't detouring around. They were just going right through town.
Ledyard wind power, there are 2 turbines completely set up there now and they are moving. I'm sure with today's wind, they will not be setting components. Kossuth Wind Energy, the phase 2 project, are continuing to strip and get ready for driveways there. We've completed the front of the Ledyard building is my understanding, and now they've moved to Fenton, I believe, is where they are moving. Our own crews are in the front of that building. And we did get grinding completed. We still need to get that sealed down there on B58
Smooth.
side, but it's a lot smooth.
What was it, 3 passes it took them?
Yes,
The grinder wasn't very big. I thought it'd be a 1 pass, but it was.
and once we get that sealed, we'll come back in. We'll have to get some traffic control as far as marking on there. Those are not, they're not there right now, that edge line. And the center line is, but once they do their sealing, I think the center line.
When they started grinding and quitting, you don't feel a thing. You just.
Yeah.
Good job.
Do they do the seal and like rock chips on that too?
No, it's a sand seal, I believe is what they're doing. So it's just some oil and sand mixed together
Okay.
and put it on. And I'm working on the annual report, so one of these days I'll put that on the agenda and we'll review that.
Hear anything on the 4-way bridge?
The 4-way bridge, they keep on telling us, last week it was 2 weeks away. We haven't called them up, but it's getting close. They're getting their other projects.
There's people getting worried it's gonna be closed this fall.
Mhm.
Yeah. Once they move in, they're hoping 4 weeks.
Thank you, Doug.
Sure.
Okay, Brittany got some answers, so I asked her to come back in.
Okay, what kind of answer did you get, Brittany?
She said, no, she answered. She said that she was gonna, that we treat it as the same as a building. And then, I did talk to Audrey, and she said that she's gonna send me a sketch this afternoon. And she is gonna call the homeowner later, she's at work right now, and get a contract. I do not have to have a fire inspection or a health inspection. And then I did leave a message with Doug, which when I'm the zoning part of it, I always ask him, so. But have that today too.
So with those coming, then everything will be complete.
Everything should be good.
Does she know she has to shut at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? You can she'll find out when state trooper. goes.
Sounds like that's what the state troopers do. They roll through and kind of follow them and shut them down at 3 according to Roger.
Can we approve it conditional to those items being submitted?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd make that motion. To
Do I have-
approve it conditional, that stuff.
Do I have a second? Then I call for a second.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion?
See, it's just like A-Bait then, so.
Do a roll call vote, please.
Becker,
Yes.
Casey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Platt,
Yes.
Jerks.
No. Thank you.
Thanks, Brittany.
Thank you.
Township trustees. We have one to fill in Harrison Township. Jack Johnson. Marge, they've done everything correctly. Do I have a motion to approve the Harrison Township clerk?
So moved.
Motion by Stecker. Do I have a second? I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. You're bringing papers to sign? I can get them later. Next, we have Seneca Township trustee, Ed Arndorfer. I would move to approve the Seneca Township trustee. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Plath. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Want to take a break now, or later, or?
All good, dude.
Drainage.
Should
Should we close these two? Okay. March, we have a change order for DD four lateral 28 repair project. Additional increase of $53,392. Any discussion on the change order?
I mean, you guys can kind of read in there, it's additional length for the pipe. When I talked to Tyler about it, he said that the distances that were on our map and everything were all wrong. That's why it was short, so. It's just to get to that same junction we had talked about, but it's gonna need that much more length, so that's the price tag is associated with it. To get to same spot we saw, which unfortunate.
So they don't go out and measure it first, they just take what's on our drainage map for length? You mean?
Well,
or-
they, after the project started, then they do the exploratory excavation, that's when they found it. So, before the project starts, they don't have anyone to do that. So no, all the engineering and that stuff's based on their estimates, based on information they have, which wasn't correct.
So you making a motion to approve?
I mean, it's either that or we don't build it to the connection, which
Not making any sense, does it?
not really. So, yeah, I would make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second? I have a second on change order in DD four lap 28 repair.
Second.
Second by Loss. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We have drainage district repairs. Marge, you got the sheets.
Yep. You got for that and give me. Where now is your section? There you go, propose. Nice grassy because he couldn't farm it or was in the back here?
Yep.
You,
Get to the funeral about 9:45.
I go back to the. Still in Buffalo, or you know?
Huh? You got a repair?
yeah, number 37, Beaver in section 28 for Gene Thompson. Broken bulkhead needs repair and check for blockage in the tile lateral 16A.
Did you deal Tyler? With the Eugene?
I got one in Fenton Township, 2 big holes in the field, soybeans, big grass area now. It's by Michael Bierstead. Have Thompson go out there and fix it.
Oh, he wants them to call before they go.
Yeah.
I move that the supervisors take care of the request for repairs.
Casey, you want to second it today?
Second, though.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
It's an inch.
We could just as well, we're not gonna do anything until 10 o'clock. Sure. Yeah, figures.
Thank you.
Marge, would you like your present back?
Oh,
If you have time.
You can have it.
um. the other- We didn't have.
Oh, yeah, and I'm gonna come visit with you.
Right.
Anyway. I think
Yeah.
that's.
Need to make one. Okay.
Oh. Hey, is this Jim? This is Kyle Stecker. How are you today? Um. Well, I was wondering how you were doing. I heard from Dan you were a little under the weather there, so. Yep. You doing better? Okay. Oh, yep. Oh, fun. Well, I was just gonna check in with you because Dan said you'd hop on the phone for our meeting here for 60 sub 1 at 10. So we're gonna turn on our conference call. Do you have that number or do you need that from me? Okay, I could give it to you now. I have it written down here. I could read it off to you, or I could send the contact to you in a text message. If I text it to you, will you be able to see it that way? Okay, well, I will do that and we'll probably turn it on here in 5-10 minutes, something like that. And we'll get it set up for you. So Doug Johansson will probably also be on the line. And, because he's not able to be here in person, but he's gonna be on the phone for it. He's good with the project and everything, but we just gotta get the agreement worked out with him, so. I think we'll be okay that way, but yeah. Okay. And I'll text it to you also, but the phone number is 1-888-273-3658. And then it'll ask you for an access code. And that is 33466004. And then I think you hit the pound sign, but it'll kind of tell you when you call in, I believe, so. That should be everything you need. And we'll get it turned on here in just a minute. So. Yep. If you have any issues or can't get connected, you can call my cell phone and we can figure something out that way too, so. But yeah, just wanted to make sure I give you that, and I'll text it to you once we get off the phone here, so. Yep. I think it's Johansson, but I'm not exactly sure. I probably butchered. I have it spelled in my phone, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Yep, I agree with that. Yep, honestly, I think we could probably shake hands on it and they would write a check when the time came, but you just can't do business that way anymore, so. We gotta have an agreement, but. Well, exactly. I think they'll be fine to work with. They're involved, they're informed now. If we go ahead today, I think they'll be fine, but it's just a matter of getting a little bit of something in writing, so we have it specified out a little bit. Just. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Well, we'll kind of have this discussion when the meeting starts up here, but from my talks with Dan, we probably need to get something as soon as possible, hopefully in the next couple weeks, because if we can move forward, because I mean, there's a little bit of concern with landowners right now with the price tag, but I think we'll be able to work through that. So depending on how the conversation goes, if we move forward, we'd probably want an agreement soon as we can, because they're gonna wanna start construction, and we don't necessarily want to start construction until you got that figured out, because that changes everyone's price, so. Yeah, I would probably agree with that, but we couldn't go too much longer. Probably, yeah. Oh, yeah, she did mention that too. Okay, good. Okay. I'm not in favor of that. Yeah, exactly. Yep, I agree with you there, so that's good to know, but yeah, we'll have to cross that bridge another day. Yep, oh, yeah, I'm aware of him, so that's good. Yep, I'm aware of that too. Yep, I knew about that from the beginning, so yeah, that is a mess. Yep. Yep, agree, exactly. So that sounds good. I wouldn't see that as an issue, but I guess we'll talk about that, but I don't think that's a problem. Especially if you say it, that'll help. So, that works, and I'm gonna try and get the phone set up here, so you can get called into that, and I know Doug will be calling in, so. I better get going on that, so we can get her set up. Yep, yeah, probably. And I'll get the stuff sent to you, so you have it in a text message too, so. Yep, you bet, thanks, see ya. How are you guys doing today?
How many total acres we got on ours?
Um. Just a second, I need to send in the contact. Maybe that's. Zach, could you run down to the auditor's office and grab Marge?
Yep.
Tell her we got a question for her. I got it. And I don't know your total acres. I can probably try and figure it out here shortly, but I don't usually. I know what the number is, but I don't know. They typically get that call in because Doug's supposed to call in and Jim Hudson, our attorney, is supposed to call in. Let me see if I can grab Donnie real quick. I'll be, I can't go through that door. And I tried calling you twice now. But
I've been busy.
okay,
He's coming up.
I might grab it.
Good.
That'd be great. So Marge is.
What do you think?
Yes. For your tip, yeah, yep. Oh, we can get that.
You want me to call it, get it, call it,
Yeah,
okay.
you can get it set up then. Oh. Fine.
It's just
Good.
12:21 or 12:01.
Welcome to AT&T's teleconference service. Please enter your access code, followed by the pound sign. To join the conference as the host, press star. Otherwise, please enter your host password, followed by the pound sign. There are 1 participants on the call, including you. You are joining your conference as the host. For a menu of available commands, press star pound.
Yes, it does. So when I was on the market, it's going for a walk. Couple of blocks down the road. There's that stood at the side of the bird. She is my favorite. Yeah. It's
Six, 63.
I did it. It's still there. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, somebody called in, and she was talking to her sister-in-law, so she introduced me, and then she goes,
Should be here.
Doug Street, Doug Street, go. Yeah, okay. So you go, right? Yeah, we were, I said, I'm your geek.
That's figured.
But, and, Elaine, my oldest years, friend, she just lives a lot older than me. So,
So it's, you know, it's figured to the end of like. Assessments would be sent out, that's when it, or like to then next year, that's when this. So it's through construction, but it's not through the life of your system. Yeah. $63.
that's what I'll say.
Yeah. So
We definitely want to stay.
it would get it below that initial estimate.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Jeff said you were pushing for concrete.
It's all just, this is a bit of that.
That's all in line, and he wants to go bigger.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean. It's 135 total.
Yes.
So that's your.
Stepdaughter than the twins.
Okay.
Plus.
Where's
What's that, effigy miles?
There's go back to me.
Where you're glad
Would they?
already, so there's about 6,000.
It was relaxing. There wasn't a heck of a lot to do, but there's enough to do.
And I think there's 300 feet of road crossing about.
And you're-
But that's
Getting up there, if they go those hills, I'm like, so I made some comment to her, she said, God, I bet everybody never comes through here, and she's like, I think it ends here. Very quick, it's all about going down some of those hills.
Probably would be solid. I know you can get fine slots.
Yeah,
at 24
we
and
put, well, they should be able to make it whatever. Fine sliders, no.
Somebody just tune in? Yeah,
But
who's on the line?
Hello,
Yep, who's on the line?
Doug Johansson.
Okay,
and, Jim Hudson should be calling. Yeah.
we got a few minutes before we can start. Doug,
That's fine.
And his wife. Then he said, I'm going through my side, he goes, until so they're there anyways. He said, they're divorced, but still my kids on the.
Plus 108. Nineteen.
You get a lot of people going out, going.
Plus 19.
Yeah. There's my brother-in-law there, I think of a head up by,
Plus 60.
Rathwing Farm. Or Hanson was. Yeah. Keith farmed that, Keith and Randy and a couple of them.
Oh.
Greenstone. Oh, Keith was the wind, it was all, the whole field was flat.
Some of the, a lot of that came back into the green stash.
some of it snapped. Varieties are real different. We had one field, I think there's about 40% of it snapped
Really?
out. Yeah.
If you don't got wind insurance, you don't get nothing, right? Want to grow. Like it's what Dave, I told Dave, he said, well, it's one thing plus, he said, you got flex ears? I said, yeah. So if this one's busted, these two will get bigger here.
But it won't be twice as big.
Right, right. No, because that plant's still growing, just doesn't have his top anymore.
Divided by. Okay, so.
I don't look for no 250 bushel corn this fall.
So then if you switch to plastic,
I sell up about 175 to 180.
290.
You usually get that
Divided by 290.
bigger 45 to 50 bushel beans, the rest is the bonus. Right.
Choose. So
You talk to other guys, they figure 65, 70 beans and 240 corn.
Our beans are short yet.
There's some really, really nice ones that are closed rows and there's some that are
that's an improvement.
still a lot of daylight between them yet.
Ours got dinged really bad with Danville.
Oh, really? I gotta get old nice. The grounds, they mixed, the one field I had the Campbell, but I didn't know what the guy had beside me, so I had him spray Liberty. Or they mixed Liberty and Roundup together. And all the volunteer corn, they didn't put corn filler in there, but all the volunteer corn died. And it was Liberty Roundup corn the year before. So why did it kill the corn?
Good, Doug.
Shut up. I go, did you have some left from your sprayer from previous field? You think we did? Why is the corn, I mean, I'm happy the corn's dead. I didn't put that big corn killer. That makes sense. Smile. There we go.
But.
Sorry, I was focused.
Need to set anything up or whatever, go for it. We got we're talking total acres. It's not- Yeah.
Stand on my feet.
Mine has no problem with that.
I'm glad to hear.
I get a haircut, you know, like that should be happening, right, shouldn't it? Yeah. Excuse me. But it never works that way. No.
Did we ever get Hudson?
He's not on the end. I think just,
That's probably an issue, yeah.
It's dramatic.
Yeah, so this is.
Then you can get breaks.
what are you doing?
Plastic instead. Or line stuff up in this large halls. Figuring out stuff with Hudson, everything's changes.
So similar to what you saw.
The biggest is one.
Doug, Johannes is on one.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? Last meeting? Johannes.
Everything.
Oh, it's
Where they give you them regular farm magazines.
Yeah.
No, off silver through.
Whole nother country. It is. Oh, let Kyle sit down again. You ready to start, Kyle? It's 10 o'clock. We're gonna reconvene DD 60 sub 1 improvement project. We are open for public
This is
comment.
Jim Hudson joining.
Okay,
Hey,
Jim.
Jim.
We got Jim Hudson and Doug Johannesson on the line. Any public comments on DD 60 sub 1?
Cheaper phone,
Probably just give Dan a second to get that.
61,004, that's 51.
Dan, do you want to start?
Yeah.
And you'll probably want to come up to towards the phone so they can hear you better on there.
All right.
If possible.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming in for another hearing. We've got some numbers, and so we can have some good solid discussion today. So as you know, we had our bid letting last week. We had an apparent low bidder, exactly with all excavating. And so when we did that bid, we went ahead and broke it down into several different sections. One is the base bid that is just our main tile. And then we had, 3 alternatives on that. So if we wanted to do the laterals along with that base bid, we would go ahead and do that. Or if there was something we wanted to drop off, we would have the option to do so. So the base bid came in at $557,111.75. The base bid is typically what we go off of when we determine the low bidder. In this case, the low bidder was the lowest for just about everything except lateral 3. But either way, the base is what we use to determine. Now, when we look at the different bids, there was one key difference between the base and the alternatives, and that is that we made the base entirely out of reinforced concrete pipe, or RCP pipe, versus all the alternatives were made in plastic. That was, as I surveyed various landowners, it seemed to be that was a consensus on what we wanted to go with. We didn't want to have a gazillion different options to pick and choose from in the bid letting, otherwise things get confusing for our contractors and for our landowners. So that's the way we went for the bid letting process. As we received those bids, we took those numbers and compared them with my estimates that I put together previously for the pre-classification. So what we found was some people's costs went up and some people's costs went down. Typically, if you were a landowner that had ground on the different laterals, the alternatives, your costs went down.
But if most of your ground was on the main tile system, your cost went up and by a significant margin. What that boils down to is the alternative bids came in lower than my estimate and the main tile came in higher than my estimate. So today, what we're going to talk about is looking at these numbers. Do we want to go ahead with the project? Are there changes that need to be made? And what do we want to do going forward? So one piece of discussion that came up was, well, is there some ways that we can save money for the people that are paying more than what was estimated? And probably the most obvious way to save money on that would be if we looked at going with an all plastic system versus an all concrete system. So I had some discussion with Zach Lubenthal, and we talked about what the prices would be for that. And it looks like we could knock about $135,000 off of the price for the base estimate. That then would be spread out over each of the landowners that are paying for the main. Everybody's paying for the main. So the handout that I have for you today looks at a few different things. You see a column for each of the laterals, starting with the Minnesota lateral, lateral 1, lateral 2, lateral 3. Those are exactly as we had mailed out a week ago. And those are what your cost would be estimated for the project as is. Then in gray, there's two more columns, and that is the cost of the main, and then the total cost of the project if we did everything, including the gray columns and the columns to the left. So basically, everything that's blue and gray on that table is exactly as we had it bid, and that is just the way we had it in that mailer that we sent. Now, the thing that I added to this table were the purple columns, which are, if we decided to change the main to plastic, that's what our cost would look like for the main itself, and then also a grand total for if we did the main and all of the laterals along with it. So that's the numbers that we're looking at. If we went with an all plastic option, then it would end up cheaper for everybody. Also I'll add in the caveat, all plastic is not all plastic. There's a few places where we wanted to leave concrete in, particularly in road crossings. And also where there was limited cover above the pipe, we kept that as a heavy duty concrete, just to make sure that any grain wagon traffic or anything like that wouldn't cause any issues with the pipe. So plastic where we can do it, which is the vast majority of the project. Yeah.
Plastic last as long as the concrete, or?
That's a good question. And there's debate on that. What I do know is, you'll see municipalities put it in. I mean, it hasn't been around as long as concrete, so we just don't know. What I do know is, it's hard to even compare it with concrete because the older concrete systems that I see are not the same as the newer concrete systems that I see. So old concrete systems, the ones that I've dug up, they're in poor condition, are in very poor condition compared with clay. But they're a different concrete makeup. So the ones we have today, I would project as lasting a long time, just like the ones that we have in plastic, I would project as lasting a long time. All that to say, we don't know which one lasts better because neither one has been in the ground for very long time. Even the concrete systems that are old are just a completely different design than those of today.
Doug's got a question for you.
Yeah, Dan. Is it my understanding that this project was let with the main tile concrete?
Yes, that's correct.
Did all bidders then submit a main tile HDPE option?
That's a very good question.
They did.
Yep.
I don't think you can change to clay without starting all over again. I mean, plastic.
Yeah. Yep, that's a good discussion. So, no, not all bidders let the plastic option. Now, what we do have is everybody, the thing that changes, particularly if I look at this bid tab, is all of the alternates had 15, 18, and 24-inch plastic. So those are prices that we know. The main had 15, 18, 24, and then one more 36-inch concrete. So the only price that we didn't know was the 36-inch concrete. Looking at the bid tab, we know that the low bidder was also the lowest for all of the plastic sizes that he bid for. So we have comparable numbers and we can show, go ahead. Oh, yeah. We have
Mr.
comparable.
Hudson,
numbers
we
on-
have you on the line.
Yes,
Okay. We bid the project as cement for the main. And all the contractors bid off the cement price. Now they're putting in a plastic as the main with none of the bidders bidding off of plastic. Is that legal?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You
So
can't
that's-
switch to titanium either, can you?
No,
What do you think, Dan?
well, I can see the argument against it, absolutely. We did bid plastic as part of the letting for different aspects of the project. So the primary difference is what is the 36-inch in here? So we have a good idea of who is the low bidder for everything else. 36 would be on top of that, but if the board feels more comfortable with reletting this, we certainly can. And we would relet it with plastic. So the question then becomes, is that something that we feel is worth doing? My understanding from talking with some of the landowners is the way that it would bid, they probably don't want to go through with the project.
Well, which is fine, but in order to compare apples to apples, I think you have to have plastic bid. Because my understanding is that plastic requires significantly different installation techniques and materials to be done right. And that could vary a lot from contractor to contractor. My other understanding is some contractors don't do a very good job of installing plastic. Some do, some don't. And I think you have good contractors that have bid on this project, but you need to be able to make an accurate comparison so you can come up with a proper cost for it.
Jim, did you catch that we did have plastic bid in for the laterals on this project, just not the main? So there was plastic bid, it was all compared apples to apples for that stuff. It was.
As far as the bids that you received, Kyle,
Correct.
but we don't know what the main would be in plastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it would almost be illegal to accept a bid from a contractor that didn't give the other contractors an opportunity to bid on it.
Does it matter that now the other contractors know what he's gonna bid, because here's his numbers?
It'd be just like a rebid. I mean,
You'd have to do a rebid for everybody.
yeah, exactly.
What you'd have to have is we'd have to turn down the hearing today and start over again with the bid process.
We'd have to reject all the bids.
Right. Reject it today and then start over.
But for discussion's sake, that's where some of the conversation was going of the price with concrete main was not feasible for you guys, right? So that's not an option you want to build. So
As of today,
it's plastic or it's not getting built.
any other comments today?
Well, this is Doug Johansson. For the record, we don't care whether it's concrete or plastic. We're agreeable to either figure. If you remember correctly, we said we would sign an agreement for the engineer's estimate, which was much higher than these. So I didn't look at it close enough. I thought everything was plastic to start with. I didn't realize there was concrete in there. And that's my own fault for not looking at the stuff closely. But I guess I tend to agree. I don't know from your standpoint in Iowa how you can proceed without a rebidding. But I guess the key question today is everyone agreeable to wanting plastic, knowing it's going to be cheaper? we're agreeable to either one, so. But I think everyone has to be asked, are they agreeable to plastic as opposed to concrete? If we're gonna go through this process to delay things further.
Looks like you won't be able to see it on the phone, but we're getting heads nodding in the back of the room for yeses, so. Looks like that's the path everyone's interested in going down.
With the understanding that we would have to rebid this, so it'll probably take, I forget what the.
Well, it'll take another month,
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
another month.
another month. It's just the way it's gonna be.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do it illegally. So, do I have a motion to close the public hearing? Motion by Casey, do I have a second? Second by Stecker. Roll call vote?
Stecker,
Yes.
Casey,
Yes.
Lost,
Yes.
Jerks.
Yes,
Did we?
hearing's closed.
It was continued.
It was a continued hearing.
Thinking the same thing. I mean,
Now I need a motion on DD 60 sub 1 not to do the improvement project as presented today.
I would make a motion to reject all bids and rebid the project with plastic and plastic alternates.
I have a motion by Mr. Stecker to reject the bids today, and you got it. And to rebid it with plastic. Do I have a second to his motion?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion on the motion? Hearing none, do a roll call vote?
Stecker,
Yes.
Casey,
Yes.
Lost,
Yes.
Jerks.
Yes. That's all we have today on DD 60 sub 1. Thank you.
We need to set a,
Time and date.
Yeah, we should.
Jim, what's the minimum amount of time that we need?
I don't know if there is a minimum. So as soon as you can get your bid specs back together and contact the bidders. The question's also gonna come up, is this open it up for new bidders that didn't bid before?
Correct, it does. It has to be published in the paper just like it had never happened.
If you get some other bids and you wanna take those, you can.
I agree with you.
That's the purpose of having the public bidding system.
So,
And everybody may not bid again. It'll just be a judgment call when you get all the bids in and you open them and you compare them. The best analogy I can give you, and I'm sorry I don't think that fast on my feet, but if you're bidding for a new county road and you want a cement road, and you also want to see the alternative of what it'd be if it'd be a gravel road, you better make that clear in your bid specs.
March,
Otherwise, you'll get all gravel or all cement. You won't be able to make the comparison.
August 23rd.
And I don't like that analogy very good after I said it.
You're gonna have to send all letters out again, do everything all over.
We said the second one, not having.
Wow. I think we can set it today because we've had discussion. It's a continuation. So what do we got for the 23rd of August? Yeah. Marge, that gives you enough time to get it all done?
Yeah.
You gotta get it in the paper, you gotta get the bids. You ain't gonna do it much before the 23rd of August or the 16th.
Yeah, I need about a week to change the plans.
Right.
and Republish the notice. The notice needs, I believe it's 2 weeks. Does that sound right?
2 weeks, so we're, 16th is pushing it, so if you want it on the 16th, fine with me, or the 23rd, which date's best for you?
Go with 23rd, so there's no second guessing.
Okay, that's my opinion.
Yep.
10 o'clock. Okay,
Yep, that works.
good. Thank you.
Now that motion, the bid opening,
This would be for a bid opening,
in
on August 23rd at 10 AM. And yeah, Tammy, I make that motion.
bid opening and approval.
Will you need a week to review?
I was gonna say,
them?
don't you gotta review them?
Come back and approve them the next week?
Yeah, so I would say make the
Same.
approval contingent on review by the engineer, which I can do.
Okay, so we'll make the motion that it's bid approval contingent on the engineer to review the bids.
So you want it all on the same day? Just wrap
I
it all?
would.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
To get it moving.
Well, do you wanna do it at 8:30 then? He just stays and at 10 o'clock, he tells us what the results were and we just continue it? Kill it all in one day or not?
Or 8, I mean, you gotta drive, so.
It's up to
you want
him.
it
You know,
at
getting
9?
Yeah, let's shoot for nothing.
Let's do it at 9.
And then you gonna have enough time to review them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll do it at 9 o'clock.
Is the plastic good?
The big plastic can't be perforated, some of it.
Yeah, we can certainly go to the 24 inch.
Yeah, but after that, you can't get slotted.
Yeah, yep. I mean, that's in,
Does it take water between the joints?
No,
Can't you get,
yeah,
can't you get perforation in 36?
no. You can't get slotted.
we can do the 24.
Yeah.
I didn't know whatever you wanted, you specified.
Even the 36,
I'm pretty sure, yeah, because the concrete will take water at all the belts on it.
Yeah.
And
In either case, perforated, unperforated concrete, usually it's deep enough that you're in the clay and it's really not taking very much water at all. I mean, we can
Better not say
make
it.
24 inch perforated, 36, we'll see. But even with concrete, yeah, it'll take it at the joints
You don't take
where
any-
it's shallow enough that it'll take water at all. Otherwise, yeah, for that 36 inch, I don't know if that's really gonna change the design very much. Really perforated.
Yeah, it's the same price, yeah.
You don't get much drainage on either one. Cement or plastic. Not on the main.
Yep.
If you're planning on drainage, you better lay a lateral next to it.
It's the same price. I think it costs more to make.
I mean, you're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, if that's what you're making. Yeah, so here,
well, all your current stuff will be reconnected, so you'll have
Well,
that
just saying,
same
you know,
stuff that way.
Yeah.
The existing main out there right now is what, 2 foot chunks that they laid by hand 100 years ago. They're probably taking water all the time.
yeah. It's also gonna be at a higher elevation than what we're gonna have. Not by a ton, but we are laying new main, as low as we can.
Yeah.
Make sure that everything's good.
So realistically, we're not that half, but it's more laterals out there than.
Yes, plan on it. We put a lot of mains in where people were very disappointed because they haven't got drainage.
But your main will move a lot more water now than the current one will. It's just, you won't have it coming in at those joints necessarily. Yeah.
You know, put concrete with the right way. All people live there.
Yeah, so I specified 72 feet concrete.
You guys all get the date that we're continuing.
23rd.
9.
Oh, yes, nine.
Nine.
Jim, you got anything else? As long as you're on the
A
phone?
little bit after that, because we'll have.
I really don't, Roger. I think you're back on the right path.
As far as the Minnesota.
I have a
Johnson,
question.
You got
The
any?
bid opening is at 9 on August 23rd.
Correct.
Is the board going to make a decision to do it or not do it at that time also?
Yes.
We will. And,
So that's the first we're gonna see any figures?
yes,
Yes.
Is it 9?
yes,
Well-
because we won't know anything until 9 o'clock.
We'll have the comparison, like, and I don't know if you can bring your Excel sheet and just plug it in and try and break it down, but otherwise, we'll have the total that we can compare and either know that it's more or less. So hopefully we should have a good idea that way.
You won't have
it'd just
enough,
be nice to ever do the figure.
we won't have enough time to compile everything for you. Then we'd have to wait for another week. Is that what you're, unless that's what you wanna do?
I can give you my estimates based on the prices that we saw. I think that we'll be pretty close in that ballpark. And obviously in this bid, in this atmosphere, we've seen prices fluctuate wildly, but I think in this case we'll be pretty close. So you can use those to get a solid judgment ahead of time on which direction you want to go. And we'll see how the bids come in. We can make a decision from there. Jim, do you think you'd be able to have a solid draft agreement that we can just plug our numbers into by the 23rd?
Probably. I don't know what you keep calling the solid draft agreement, Dan. There'll always be something that we need to tweak. But I'll put a draft together that I'll run it by you, you and I'll work on it. Then I want the board to review it and I want Doug to review it. And if we're awfully close, we can sign it up right then too. Well, my brother won't be there, so he's the one that has to sign it, he and his wife, not I. But if we get your approval, we're pretty well assured your brother will sign. Yes.
Okay. The only other thing is your estimate didn't include your fees.
Yeah, it did.
It did.
Yep.
You put that in with the estimate?
Yep, so I put my fees in, I also added, with the plastic estimate, I added a little bit for televising, in case there was some worry on that.
Okay.
And then I added 1 year worth of interest, so from
Yeah, on the
this
one.
year. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you. Understood by everybody? Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Weedmeyer.
I'll make a motion, but nobody seconded it.
Yeah, we gotta have a second and then we have to vote. Do I have a second on, why don't you read the motion, Graham, it's been forever.
Very good. I'll second it.
What?
To reject the bid, Kyle made the motion.
Yeah.
To set the hearing. Set the hearing.
Set the bid opening and approval for DD 60 sub 1 improvement project, commission of the engineer to review bids for August 23rd at 9 o'clock.
I'll second this motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Being said you got. We're done till 11 o'clock.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Thanks, both.
Thanks,
of you.
Jim.
One quick question.
Yep.
Marge, this isn't a very big number of landowners. Will you send a reminder notice out to them, or will they just need to pay attention to these minutes?
I can send a notice.
With
I think she ought to send a notice. I think she better.
Yeah.
Cause then,
That's better practice, but I wanted to ask.
yeah, no, I think, I already told her she had to send a notice.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. We don't want any loose ends on it.
Okay.
Yep. Mr. Doug, we're gonna sign you off.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks.
This has been the most convoluted
Well,
project we've ever done.
it's been going on since
Yeah.
14.
Really?
All that.
We've been at it for at least 8 years, if not 10. So now we gotta have them rebid it and everything else.
Don't they know Liverpool's number? Because he's the one that's got the number right
Charge the wrong.
Yep.
They don't worry, don't start delivering.
So there's a couple things to maintain insurance. One,
I don't like plastic names. I don't want no plastic. You like plastic names?
Big stuff.
I don't think it's good. I've got too much plastic tile, that's crap.
I heard you get a big 36 and they start to do this.
I do.
It basically removes video.
It's still 36 inches, it's just a different shape.
We're east of Rake right now digging up some stuff. 8-inch tile, about that tall.
Right on grade, just double check everything. A cheap
It
insurance.
was 36.
So I think
Now it's
that
8.
price.
No, it's an 8-inch tile, but
But
it's 4 inches tall. Yep, it's still working. I'm not saying it's not working, but
Yeah, there's.
is it less?
I've got one.
And our one's all right.
Okay.
Now they keep track of when they make tile that runs. Like this run they're making today, I sold it to this guy, this guy, and this guy. Do they know all where it goes?
I think you're safe.
Because this spring, Brian Youngman, quit.
Yeah.
And Blair's getting all his tile. Well, Brian had a whole bunch of 5-inch from, Eagle Grove. It's faulty.
So, I mean, yeah.
They had a bad batch last year that they made, so that they remade a batch and they replaced them. What about the guys that got in the ground? I mean, how do you know? Do they keep that good of records that you had batch number 46, he did?
No.
So you got a bunch of 5-inch tile you paid for that right now might be about a 2-inch.
Well, and the other thing is, we have contractors don't watch their boot on the tile plow.
Usually.
You gotta have a good V bottom for plastic, so that it's supported on the side, not on the bottom. There's supposed to be a hollow spot underneath the bottom.
Yeah,
If
so
you
that.
don't have that, that's why that tile collapses. Right, Marge?
You do want to keep that?
Yeah.
That was just.
Correct.
Yeah. One day, so.
So, keep your stuff in good shape.
Well, I see on the highway, that's Yumma's old plow. This Blair's got that black one sitting on the head. They're pretty good advertising, it's parking alongside the highway with the name on it.
You got it, if you don't have a hand. It rolls your eyes. Yeah, just. Your problem.
Yeah. Cause he's probably just suited in this for some reason. It'll be one of those. He's going to put it on anything.
Because of general
But the little left drive.
drainage.
One time.
9 days if you're.
Of the outstanding, we're gonna collect 5 days.
That's 9 million. That's a big
It just
number.
is, oh, it's meant to be, it's 7.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, Jeff, you know, it's mine.
So none of them did plastic on the main. That's the caveat.
Oh. Mark, right here, you're responsible for 9,400,000.
See if you can get it, right?
I can't read.
Yeah.
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 Here, can you make it?
Yeah.
That's
Ooh,
what
look
they
at
go
that.
these days.
Vera,
Yes, it is.
That's the
Right
10th.
there.
Oh, right there.
Auditors
And
outstanding.
that's as of July or was
Yeah,
this based
this is
on
July. It's
June?
year end.
June, July 1st, 2021, okay.
Yeah, July.
Through June 30th of 2022. Yep, and then that'll,
That
my
would drop off.
it'll go by
But I
fast.
just, I've never seen that big a number before.
Oh, seriously, what was last year?
8, 7 or 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't even know what it was.
Okay.
It tasted fine, but
That's the first time I've seen those.
it was kind of like a
Mechanically.
rectangle shape.
Oh,
I know, I have to go look through my books.
You
It's
would?
like,
I just saw it by
Okay.
ponies on it.
That's a lot of money, though.
it is, it's scary, it's scary.
But it's gonna drop off. We haven't got,
Yeah, it'll get.
we haven't got any projects other than this. You
This-
know, and
Well,
this-
well,
and a couple other things.
82.
Yeah.
and-
Was this a repair or?
Let's rock and roll.
No.
This has been,
It's an
an
improvement.
improvement, and the Minnesota,
So, yeah.
Minnesota land.
Well, no, we don't have to go anywhere.
No.
Improvement, oh, repair, you have to.
Yeah.
In reality, originally,
At least
I thought that this year project should have been done privately, you know, done through work.
But they had the issue of Minnesota land, but it's not anything, what they would do,
Right,
one way or the other.
there's only like 6. And I don't know, you got.
You got-
Yeah, I don't know what I did with it. But there's not a lot of landowners. It could have been done privately.
Yeah.
Some of the other-
That was done privately, the roads are still on it, so.
Just gonna have to get timeline and everything back.
So 10 or 11, because some of these are.
I'm not-
I don't know why they're listed separately.
I always said there was 9.
And then, because the roads.
Yeah.
5 minutes. You'll kill another month pretty quick too. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deals.
All right.
Yeah, so that's this one and then.
We haven't got any other time.
All right. But
The green for that, maybe.
At least we got like a.
Yeah, that's what they did,
So they
Yeah,
don't
but I mean,
but not big.
take that for winter.
I mean, it's gonna be a
That's not how.
smaller number.
Mess up with your stuff.
so I got.
Is it better?
All right. Thanks.
Thanks,
And
Dan.
we got a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for bearing with it
Yeah,
and the process.
because say we've been at it for about 8 or 9 years. I was no use in doing it wrong now.
Well, and you know, we had talked about bidding it both ways as I got into putting the contracts and stuff together. Convoluted messes have continued to delay this project over and over and over again, and bidding it both ways would have been more of a mess, so that's what we went with.
Surprised that they won't go along with cement.
I know, because
It's just better.
the plastic,
They just don't want it.
Well, that's because of the price.
Yeah, we got a definite no from Farmans, and with
And
that,
Eisman would have been no as well.
yeah,
I just that price, or the,
If I was them, I would have said no with anything because it's too much money for what they're getting good out of it, especially ice.
For Eisman's broke it down, it was 1,400 an acre. So, I mean, when you look at an improvement project, that isn't all that far out of line. I mean, for a small district like that, that's actually pretty efficient. For a 3/4 inch coefficient.
so,
It's not perfect by any means, but you ain't gonna get much better in this economy either.
yeah, the heck of the deal is, you know, quite a bit of the engineering fees already been spent. There's quite a bit more in inspection that gets tacked onto it. But
We've
also-
already spent a ton of money on this over the years.
Yep,
I mean, we've
Exactly.
spread a lot of dollars on this project and got nothing.
yeah.
We could do more. When did you start on it?
We're getting close.
Pretty close to when I started at McLaren.
We started on this before you even started.
Yep. We got involved in 2016.
The company did.
Mhm.
We had issues with it before that. It was always the Minnesota people wouldn't pay for it. I mean, we did have informal hearings way back when.
Yep.
It was always the same. Well, if they don't pay for it, we're not doing it.
But
They always said they were never informed of any of that, so
They were,
were they ever here?
no. They were talked to by somebody. I don't know who anymore.
yeah. So now we have, I mean, we've got the information now too, because you see cases of this all the time where, well, I'm not doing it if such and so isn't in. Well, yeah, that's fine, but to make that fight is gonna cost you quite a bit of money. And at the end of the day, sometimes you're better off just going for it, as you were saying earlier. Do it privately and be done with it.
It would have been cheaper to do that 10 years ago, but
Yeah, they could have done it for half the money if they'd have done it when they started.
And they all knew that
yeah,
at the time, but
Because it wasn't a very big district.
no.
Oh, well. You can engineer something or fan doesn't squeal.
How's people wasn't doing that?
Yeah,
well,
it's
that
on-
stuff, yeah.
It's the downhill of the,
Of the fan,
Impeller,
we're gonna,
chiller.
yeah.
it's gonna puke pretty soon. Well, we're not gonna get to do one until summer's over.
All in meetings.
I'll call him.
We can do Zoom with the owl. Well, you don't need that if you're all Zoom, but,
Won't do any good. Won't be anybody here.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't need it if you're all electronic.
Are you guys doing a new HVAC system?
Yeah.
Webster County is too, yeah.
Yeah. It's that. FEMA,
ARPA.
Yep. Yep, Webster County is too.
Thanks.
Yep.
Yep. It's the art.
So now everybody's fighting over the same chillers. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
All righty. Well,
All right. We'll see you in a month.
yeah, thanks for bearing with us.
Yeah.
We're going. All right.
Yeah. Take it easy, Dan. Appreciate it. Yeah.
20 minutes, yeah. Switch it out to the next one. There you go.
My boy's girlfriend, she might do something night. My boy's girlfriend, what'd she do? She was heading home, she got my Smith leg, was facing off. And then you turn and go burp.
Yeah.
She just, she didn't think about it, she just whipped her well. 60 miles. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, one little Liberty, that one, this back looks excellent, the front end ball.
Little Pete.
Yep. What the hell she did? Well, she spaced off, and then she realized that was her phone, and she tapped the brakes and turned the wheel. You gotta slow it down to at least. 20.
Yeah.
I said, you're lucky she's still kicking, boy. I was sad, this, this thing off, this first stepdad in your mom came, and just sit there and raped her. Didn't ask if she was okay, just you wrecked your car.
Yeah.
And it's her pissed off, her car, she paid for it, her insurance, she paid for it.
Yeah. They're pissed off at the time. I don't know, our part-time dozer operator, he went around the curve the other day by Buffalo Center, going to Buffalo Center. Didn't make it, flew out the windshield, killed himself.
What was that accident the other day? It sounded like they were hurt that bad. The one guy just went to the hospital, got released, and
And
then
then head-on collision, south of town.
that had to be about by the schoolhouse, wasn't it? About 2 miles south.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I talked to one of the city, what do they call city cops? Cops or deputies,
Officers.
officers.
Officer, officer.
The one that drives the purple Tahoe that,
Craig Westland.
yeah.
Well, I'm thinking accident, it'd be about Mile Street east of where, the dog guy, he's built a brand house on the country.
Oh,
Something like that.
what you're talking about on the country, do you hear anything? Did they ever get the straw spread on that pit? And they didn't.
I don't even know if it smells that bad because bridge is out, so I go to Irvington Road. I don't even drive by it anymore. And we haven't smelled it in town for a while.
They came through junkyard blacktop this morning and took gravel and dealt. It's sick of taking the same way. Went through Titan first and checked out a road that had to put rock on the shoulders.
I was impressed with that grinding. It was, you could see where the ground, was full width, and then all of a sudden there's a spot where it's just a little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit, and then it's smooth. Looked pretty good. They set the lasers the way it went.
Did you go over at 80?
Speed limit's 55.
Did you go over at 80?
No. Take 'em home.
I thought that was just like a chance kid.
Oh.
I didn't know that meant. That's serious?
Steps I got picked up the other day. Test driving the car for Chemnitz, because he works at Chemnitz, and he got busted 15 or 20. He goes, well, I'm working on it. That don't matter. They want me to check it out. That don't matter.
Didn't matter. We picked him up, I was wrong.
Must have been, I guess, he told me it was. I know the state trooper got the step on her. She was facing off from her, she went into it. Yeah, they don't mess around. She got picked up, and a week later, here comes a letter. She can't drive up to 10 o'clock. No passengers, no this, no this.
She's only 16. Yeah, to get you then. Oh, my grandson quit driving. He's 15.
Most funny is a week ago, it was over the 4th of July weekend. I go up to Irvington Blacktop, your gravel road, and here's all these donies right across Irvington. Somebody's out in the four-wheeler doing donies on the road, donies on the shoulder, whipping around. Big track, just a little bit farther, right on the shirt. All the tracks are going in his yard. It's like, his kids or his whatever was out having fun. Next time I see him, I gotta give him a hard time. Hey, by the way, you see those donies in front of your house in Florida.
That might have been him.
Might have been. I got a hold of B&W.
Oh,
Lindgren's ground right north of Irvington had a bunch of trustees. So I go out with B&W, within an hour or two, it's pretty.
it's almost wrapped up.
Yes, just 5-10 minutes ago, maybe.
You're not gonna read it all at the upper gamma. You are,
Possibly.
huh, I saved it. It's under here.
You did?
Yeah, in case you really want to read it, you know where to find it.
Okay.
I don't throw nothing away, they find everything down.
Yeah, I see that, Dan.
Yeah, Galen, it's worse than mine.
How did you?
Yeah, once you told me, I was like, I can't clean it up now. Somebody's got to,
But,
How's the new lady?
good, she, library. So she's here today, but she's doing.
She's wasn't.
Very bubbly, and does a very good job. Yeah, she does a good job, but she's doing a good job.
But, June at the wedding Saturday, she's glad she's retired. I said, so did you clean up after your own party? No, I said, well, what are they gonna do, fire you? She said, that's what I thought, they can't fire me, I'm putting in the day.
She said, she's. But some of the surprises down people. She was.
There's a lot of people sign up.
It was a nice birthday. Really.
I had to go to Mason to pick up rafters.
Get a nice fundraiser. If you retired. Employees.
Hopefully some people show up.
I think there's one guy down by the auditor's office.
Just raise
Said
day.
he was coming down here, so yeah, I think we'll have some people. I don't know how many, but
So I
I
still
know
see how this is gonna work.
pretty soon anyway.
Might don't, like it sounds okay today.
I would imagine there were names on the petition.
Yeah, it snows. This gal don't do snow, so.
I got a call from one last night
No,
asking about it. Do I need to show up
Either
to
one or
that?
the other.
Well,
Would
the
you?
only
yeah,
time.
I guess if you want the information, yeah, I might want to. Well, I threw it in the trash right away, so what time is it? So then I told him 11, it's fine, but
Yeah, they can't both go running at the same.
yeah.
For a whole week to make it, there's a date.
And I knew he was one that had signed the petition, so I was like, did
Yeah.
you sign the petition? Yeah. I think
Like
I
a whole
did.
week.
Well, you can come if you wanna share your opinion.
Well, I don't.
Older than that.
And get information, but
Go together, you think they'd be sick of each other.
Okay, I-
There's trouble.
They fight.
well, it's-
Don gets tired of Willie.
He knows his fault. Goes around.
Yeah, but you hard time finding better.
You said it can go.
I think you have better help. They're a lot better than the previous auditor that we had.
Well, there you go. There.
No,
What's the hell is gonna get me there?
we got it, right?
He kept the king.
based on. Yeah, options. Lengths.
$8 million.
Say that.
No, that's got,
How many acres?
Well, so something like.
yeah,
Don't tell me where.
Mr. Dakers right there.
Wow, here,
You have something. Go ahead.
and then when you come to argue. Take Joe didn't know anything, the last thing he had is that's a schedule. He said. Well, he says, we can think about it, he didn't need to think that.
No, listen, you're right. I think my district area is wrong.
Cause he's.
I can put it where you
Said he
said
take
that.
off. Was that what said the whole summer?
Yeah, if you wouldn't,
That's right.
or actually, I'm connected to the thing, I should be able to.
West End.
This.
Was playing. The bankruptcy. One or two.
Then I, yeah, just connect to our server.
Her sister was named Leonard.
Where
Yeah, it's only this is going to take it done. They struggle. That's the first job I done. My dad told me when I started working for John Deere, he said, you know, if you steal this down, just like stealing money, sure you work.
Oh, man. Neighbors will call up, yeah, we'll be there. I mean, you get done throwing hay all day. Well, what do I owe you, Dad? Ah, you don't know it's nothing. Well, shit, Dad. Oh, they'll help us. You know what, when we build, we never called anybody, we did it ourselves.
Are we signing in over here?
Yep, go ahead, that'd be great, thank you.
And you just.
I'll say if she can go get my friend off quick.
We had 10 acres and they had 20 and then they figured out how that worked out either.
They had to fish when he was young, because he had two brothers and grandpa, and they were around 12 acres. That's how I have to show them.
Didn't see it anywhere.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, just.
yeah, tell me that, Jerry. Your pants legs, what the hell for? I caught a rat right here once. Man, all types of pants legs.
Now, who are all you people here?
Problem more retired from the elevator board. So we went to the.
Are you,
Yeah.
do you have?
Few too many. I got home.
What are you doing here?
I did help sell.
Let's see what's going on.
This place, the next one. Oh, what's going on for you? Long day. I get hounded every time I hit the rate. What's wrong with me?
Trips weren't bad this summer there.
He had one of them.
Yeah.
The raw wire would suck.
Yeah.
You'll park your cross curb where you pull it in the stands, those weren't bad.
No. Them wrong wire grip.
Yeah.
They were.
What's it?
Because the true crib, they had some that went down the side, or they're in the middle of where they stored it, otherwise they went through the center, then you had to open them side doors, and then you had to push that kind of stuff.
Actually, he had two cement. You ever shelf one into them? Oh, they were terrible. And they had.
Didn't raise it, then, didn't it?
That
So what the hell, how did they even drive the corn then?
It didn't go in the ball, it's stuck in all the.
Careless.
Willie, what are you doing?
You know. I got there, and I came all the way around the corner there. With an open up, with a Dixon on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I looked on the wrong side of the, I know I had it here.
Shelf one.
You're doing right.
I didn't know why he called me, because it's
Best.
long way.
Now, the direct, Steve West.
1,000.
I looked around the last and stand by the crib.
Oh, really?
And someone else stands over there. That's.
Which is pretty typical for
That's
a improvement project anyway.
But,
Check, just grab it and.
Like everything.
Yeah, it was, it was 2-year-old. All the rest were bouncing off your shoulder.
Piece at a time.
Oh.
We're here to talk about speaking of.
Snack? I ate snakes.
I need to
You
get.
just think that go. Even little better.
that's something that needs to. Like something that they don't.
You're the great over, you know. In the basement, that basement bar.
Yeah, on your-
You know, my wife was taking her out. One of them. I'm like, okay. How far? And my person.
Hey, Mark, how you doing? Good.
Hey, Doug, and you're not here, like.
No. Or even, it was, yeah, I was,
Planning on it.
you got all the.
What's it?
I've got all of the plugins, things here. I just
Just the power there.
Is that a tunnel where they pull you through? Yeah.
What's that? The car one?
Yeah, that new building there. That's Chrome.
Why
Oh, I
don't you
had
say?
no idea.
And it's on the regular now, coming soon, some.
I heard about it, but I didn't know.
Be right back. It's one of those, you pull in and it just does the stuff, pulls you.
Get that email or see that?
He was supposed to put in that truck washing, but then.
I had a guy bidding out.
I know years ago, they were talking like, Beacons.
Yes.
You gave me a call. It's good.
You talked about it.
I don't wanna give them any answers. That's your guys.
Right, well,
That's what they said.
some visions say, can't see that they shouldn't order them, but that they could open or shut up. It's all, it's boring. So I said it's gonna be required for floors unless there's some sort of an absolute dire circumstance. Oh, thank you, appreciate that.
They had to talk about like the difference between drainage district facilities and private facilities.
Right, yeah.
Which I know, I tried to explain to them, that's the
Say on the
same.
radio this morning, schools, you can get that out there, compressed gas or something, like you guys, LP or electric buses. But there's no money for diesel, if you want a diesel, you're about yourself. How the forces do that 6 in an acre?
Yes, 74.
Take it this way. Sure.
Mine's natural, I information got to
Forklift license.
counties that I provided.
happening? Are you good?
Way City might be across the couple of them, actually.
Oh, is that right?
It would probably be in Harrison and Way.
I thought there's something that's.
Straight north of Wade City, it's gotta be in Sway, a part of it, and don't it?
No, it's in Grant.
Yep.
Grant, Needle?
Grab the plat. Outlines here.
Yeah.
There's somewhere you said, well, I can't do it because I got this and that. Figuring the number, I ain't going. Sunday we'll put that fence up. I got ears this week. This big.
You ready?
Yeah.
We got half a minute yet. You all ready?
Ready, yep.
11 o'clock.
It is 11 o'clock and we are going to open up the public hearing for DD 60 sub 4 improvement project. Is that your motion, Mr. Stecker?
Sure.
I'll second your motion. Do a roll call vote, please.
Stecker,
Yes.
Casey,
Yes.
Gillette,
Yes.
Dirk.
Yes. Hearing's open. Turn it over to you.
All right, perfect. Well, good morning, all. I'm Tyler Conley, professional engineer with Bolton Mink out of the Algona office here. Been appointed to prepare a response for a drainage petition that was filed for Kossuth County Drainage District number 60 sub 4. I have the old original plat up on the projector here. We'll go through some things, but just to get started, this is just an informational meeting. No decisions or anything can be made here. It's just for landowners to give their inputs towards the engineer's report and the direction that we go. This isn't anything too formal, so if there's any questions, comments at any time, I welcome them. The more I get out of this from the landowners, the better direction the report, the response for the potential improvement project will be. So to start, this is Drainage District number 60 sub 4. There's a number of different tile laterals. This empties into the a ditch of Drainage District 60, right at this location. The main tile that we investigated was, here's on a more modern map with some landowner names, is the dark blue line. The green is sub 4. The light blue is the open ditch portion that this outlets into. That open ditch continues on much further, of course, but regarding the petition that we received is for that dark blue line. The petition was also for the investigation of an improvement project. Now, that's an important distinction for several reasons. An improvement under drainage law is the increase of the capacity above what the original design of the system was. There are original plans and profiles that outline sizes and grades for the existing system. If anything is designed or installed above that, as far as capacity is concerned, that is considered an improvement. Things that make improvements different as far as procedure, drainage district procedure is that a repair, something that mends the facility back to its original capacity, those are things that the trustees, the board serving as trustees, those are things they shall do. They have to keep the facilities in good repair. As far as improvement projects, that is more of a landowner decision. These have, they're called county drainage districts, but they belong to and are owned by the landowners that benefit from facilities. So for improvement projects, there is a process known as